Oh, right on.
Mr. Kalani Ching, where are
I know.
you living now? Big Island.
Yeah, I live in Hawaii Island. I live in Koloko, in Kona. You know,
Right on.
I know, and a beautiful place. I live up in the forest.
Right on. That's
Yeah.
it'll help you get through life, calm you down, and
Oh, I needed a lot of calming down over the years. So yeah, this is a perfect place for me. So
yeah.
yeah,
You were a day student, right?
I was a day student. Yeah,
What
yeah.
year you started at Kamimera?
Second grade. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I was there a while.
I think
Yeah,
Michael Crab started third grade,
yeah.
something
Mike
like
Crab.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Mike Crab, I knew a long time. His father and my father were in the fire department together. Yeah,
All right on. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Good guy,
Yeah.
nice guy.
I just
Yeah.
had your picture up for those that might not remember us by
oh,
name. Yeah.
oh, I don't look anything like that.
None of us do, bro. Believe me, none of us do.
oh yeah, that's right. I
So
mean, that's part of life. You got to grow old. Yeah, yeah,
absolutely, bro.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So after
So how you?
graduation, what was your first step?
Well, let's see. Graduation. I came to Kona graduation. I had one girlfriend in high school. I don't know if you remember her. She was on board or two, Lyle Roy. And then she was class of
Oh,
76.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I came here, visited her and her family. And, I got to love Kona. Um, one of another 76 grad, Michelle Sin, or Amaral now.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, she picked me up at the airport and brought me into Kona, introduced me to all kind of people, and you know. But after that, that was the summer, and then I went away to college in Washington State,
Which
which was
which
a
school?
I went to Central Washington State University, or
Okay.
was called Central Washington State College in those days. But yeah, what an eye-opening experience. Yeah, college. It was the
Oh yeah.
70s. It was the 70s.
Well, I went to Willamette, Salem, Oregon,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and my biggest memory is we got off the plane. It was raining. It
Yeah.
rained for like 5 weeks nonstop.
Is that where Michelle Apple went to too? Did
Now I
she go
don't
to Will?
remember her attending, but I remember somebody saying she worked there.
Oh, she works there. Oh, okay.
But there was a
Yeah.
bunch of us. There was
Yeah.
Marilyn Cohey, Sean Holt, Keith Height,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
myself, Doug Duvachel, Michael Crabb. It was like we hadn't left Kamehameha.
Oh, nice. I had a couple guys going to school with me was from class of 74 was Mike Kim and
Okay.
Ed Simeona. So,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I
It
think
was
Ed
cult.
became a fireman, didn't he?
He did, yeah, in Honolulu, yeah. In fact, when my father was a fireman long time, 30 plus years, and when he passed away, the Ed came with the whole entourage at Honolulu Fire. So that was real nice. But yeah, we had a blast in college that first. I only stayed there one semester, and I ended up running back home. I was lovesick. So
It's a powerful thing, man.
yeah, no kidding, powerful. But and we ended up getting married. After she graduated from high school. So she was, but we're not married anymore. She was my first wife, but we still really good friends and stuff like that. So
She's still
unfortunately,
on the Big Island too.
she lives here, yeah,
Okay.
and we had 4 children together,
Wow.
yeah.
How many boys? How many
But
girls?
I have 3 daughters and 4 sons. Yeah, I have 7 children. Yeah,
Okay.
but not all from her. So
Yeah, because you mentioned four, so I thought, wow,
yeah,
my math is
yes,
off now.
Yeah, it doesn't add up. But she was my first wife. So, and we lived, after college, she graduated, and I ended up coming back to. I went to Manoa for a semester or a year, and then we came back. I came back to UH Hilo and attended UH Hilo, and where Kamoela Chan was there, and
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I just got off with him about half an hour ago.
yeah. So now Kamoela is, he works with my daughter now over there. He's a kumuhula now, so you know, yeah, nice guy, all good guys. You know, I wish I could have hung out more, but my life was different. I ended up, I stayed there for a few years, and I was actually good friends with. I don't know if you remember him. He was on border too. You were a border, right? Yeah, Bimbo Kaheke. You remember
Yeah,
him?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So him and I got to be really good friends in Hilo, and we did this other guy, Alex Alameda. He was on graduate from a few years earlier, 72, 71, maybe, or something. But we all went to UH Hilo, and I ended up, you know, not going to school very often. I got to learn all the Hawaii habits. We went fishing, we went surfing, we went paunopihi, and I never went class sometimes, and I ended up getting a couple F's in school. And my mom she was funny. She was like, "You need to look for a job, son." And I was like, "Yeah, I think so." And I was married. Uh, my first wife and I got married. We had a little girl then, and I didn't know what to do, so I ended up joining the army. I was in the army for a few years, yeah. So that's how that part of my life started.
Yeah.
Another eye-opening experience.
Where do you do basic?
I went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, yeah, for
Okay.
basic training, and you know, it was a good, it was an interesting life. Taught me a lot of discipline. I was kind of a undisciplined person, you know.
A few
I
of us were, so
Yeah, yeah. I
did
barely made it through Kamehameha, so you know, you know.
but did you find that the ROTC helped when you went to the army?
Yeah, ROTC. My dad. You remember ROTC became voluntary, yeah. After what was that, when we were juniors or something?
I think so, yeah.
A- And then my dad, he said, you should stick to it. You might need it one day. He must have known or something. And so I did. I stayed in, and I did 4 years JROTC, and it helped when I joined the army. I was 3 paid grades higher than everybody else in basic training. So instead of being on E1, I was like E3. So
Just from the
just
JRTC,
yeah, just from that. So wasn't much, but
a head is a
yeah,
head.
yeah, you know. So I did that, and I made it up to being a sergeant one day, and I ended up going to applied for flight school. I became a helicopter pilot in the army. Yeah,
Wow,
that's
that's
what happened.
cool.
That's what happened to me. So that's how my life changed in that respect. And I always grew up wanting to fly. So that was always in the old days. My family all lived from this island, and so we come here in the summers, and stay with my grandma, and they had the old airplanes. You remember the old propeller planes and stuff in the old
Yeah.
days. And so
So when you were a day student attending Kamehameha, what area of Oahu did you grow up in?
well, I grew up in Aleva Heights,
Oh, okay.
which is right next to Kamehameha, Kapalama, the next ridge over. And funny, I think about him a lot. My One of my best friends from childhood, and all the way up was Kalani Brown. You remember him,
Yeah.
Kalani Brown? Yeah. So we were friends from small kid time, and eventually I made it in second grade. He never made it. I don't think he got in till I don't know if seventh grade maybe or something. I cannot remember, but
And
him and
he's
I were
not
always
with
good
us
friends.
anymore, right? Yeah.
No, he passed. Yeah, he passed away. Been a while now, I think. And he was when I got married. He was in my wedding, and I don't know if you remember Fred Watson. You remember Fred
Yeah,
Watson
yeah, yeah.
and George Crabbe. So
Wow.
I know I was only. I mean, I was only 20. I think 19, 20. I highly don't recommend getting married real young.
Do you pass that on to your kids too?
Well, I had yeah, my daughter. I had one daughter. She got married very young too. But most of my other kids, they waited. In fact, I got one daughter still waiting. She get two kids from this guy, and they never get married yet. I go, when you guys gonna get married? And she's like, well, next year maybe. And I go, well, your daughter gonna be on freshman in high school, so maybe you might wanna hurry up. But
Oh
that's how,
boy.
yeah, you know how, and it's all good because he's a really good guy.
Right
Yeah,
on.
yeah, and they've been together for since they was teenagers too, but they just never decided to get married. So I was like,
I
okay,
have a couple different friends like that, 35 years plus,
yeah,
just never got married.
yeah, that's how. I mean, it's all right. I mean, I get kids from three different women, so um, you know, I got my first trauma experience was getting divorced the first time, which is always a you know sour subject, but and then I was single for about 4 or 5 years, so I became I just did. I was on pilot too by that time. I was on helicopter. By the time I came back in 1984, I got out of the army, active duty. Came back to Kona, and my wife and Lyle, I got divorced from her about 85. So it didn't last. She hated the army, military. She hated it. So you know,
It's
it's not for everybody.
yeah, I hear
I
you, man.
deployed. I deployed a lot. Did you serve in the service too? Yeah.
No.
No. And I met a lot of Kamehameha graduates when I was in the service, active duty. So um, it's a different lifestyle. But I actually enjoyed it. It taught me a lot of things, but it also exposed me to a lot of negative things too. So you
So
know,
how long were you active duty?
I was active duty 7 years. Yeah, yeah. And
And
then
then
I got out, and then I came back to Kona, and then I got out. I joined our Hawaii Army National Guard over here. I flew helicopters for them. And basically, that's all I ever do. My kids, they tell me, they go, oh, Dad, you're not worth excuse my language, you ain't worth crap unless your feet off the ground. I'm like, oh, gee, thanks a lot. I have wonderful children. I really blessed in that department. So,
yeah.
yeah. So,
So have you been by chance a commercial helicopter pilot too?
oh, yeah, I flew commercially that's all I ever did. I came back here. I had a commercial helicopter license. I flew for in 80, late or early 80s. When the volcano was active, Pu'u'o'o vent. I spent many hours flying around there and worked for several companies. All throughout my entire career and life, I've been flying helicopters. So,
Wow.
but it it's just like it's just a job. For me, it was just a job. I enjoyed being and doing all the other stuff that involved life. Like I like to go. I went holo holo with my kids. I hunted over here, fished. You know, I don't get around too well anymore, but.
Well, when I imagine piloting a helicopter, and I have no clue, but It just seems like it would just be a rush every time you went up in there.
Yeah, it was. My experiences flying helicopters are pretty wide ranged, all over the world, all over the mainland United States. I fought fires. Um, I actually worked for the a contract as a contract pilot for the federal government. I worked as a contract pilot for the county of Hawaii here too for 30 years. I did it over here. I just retired in 2024. So
Wow.
yeah, I know. I
Now
thought it's like,
I know it's a big organization, um, because I was talking to Camuela about being a chanter. I assumed they all knew each other, worked together, but not really, because I asked them about Charles Kaubu. But I'm thinking, by chance, have you ever run into a local boy helicopter pilot named William Manuel?
Willem Manuel. That
Molokai
name
boy.
doesn't sound familiar. Is Where's he from? Do you know?
He's from Molokai originally,
Oh, okay.
but
You
he
know,
flew in the
that's one
service.
funny you say that because my great grandmother is buried in Ho'olehua, the cemetery there. Her name was Polena Manuel.
Wow.
So we might even be related. I mean, who knows?
Huh. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think last I heard he was doing they had like it was military connected, but they would do search and rescues.
Oh,
They would do somebody's injured on the side of the mountain, they go get them, they bring them back to Honolulu, and he was piloting that kind of stuff for
oh, yeah. That
after he got out.
I did that for years over here with the Hawaii Fire Department here,
Wow.
and then like I said, I worked all over the world. Which is, I didn't spend the time I should have with my children when they were growing up. I was always on the go. And the same thing when reunions came up and stuff, I was always, oh, I gotta go. I gotta go work, And I remember one year I went with Roy Fujishigi.
Yeah,
Does
yeah.
that name ring a bell? He passed away too already. And he lived here in Waimea. And he saw me one day. He's like, "Bro, we gotta go. You gotta come reunion." I go, "You never came at all." So I was like, "Oh, okay, okay, okay." I go. I took on flight Honolulu. I met him and Chris McInerney at Chris's house in Palolo, I think, and we was partying a little bit and stuff. He goes, "Tonight we're going to the reunion," and I went back to my hotel. The phone rang, and it was like, "You need to be here by tomorrow morning." I was like, "Oh crap!" And then I never made it. And
Oh,
you know,
wow.
I never made it a lot of times, but I think of all the classmates. I haven't gone to a single reunion, and even when they came here this past February,
Yeah.
I didn't go. I was visiting my granddaughter for Valentine's, so I came back on the night of the 16th. Corey Chalk called me. She's like, "Are you getting the messages?" She's giving me scoldings. I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I get in them, but I'm on the mainland. I cannot come." She's
Oh,
like,
okay.
"Oh, you never come to nothing." I'm like, "I'm so sorry, but that's how." My life in high school was so long ago. I remember all of you guys, everybody. Like I follow. The reason I contacted you was because I was watching the stuff you posted with, Richard Bartlett, Stephen Capeles, Philip Swain, even Tanya. And I was like, oh, I should probably give you a call and
And
get
I'm
on
glad you did, man.
get on it, because you never know. We're 68 already, yeah. So, well, I'll be 68 in December. So,
And see
so
what had me come up with the project was I was hearing from some people that not gonna make the reunion.
yeah.
But I'm thinking, well, then obviously they're not going to be at any kind of event where they can walk around. Hey, how you been? What you been doing? So this way, it kind of gives them a little bit of participation, even if they're not coming reunion.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like that too. I aloha you for doing that. That's a major um, for me. That's a major thing. I get plenty. My life was up and down, peaks and valleys. Um, being in the service, a lot of children. Um, they just was. It was rough for me. So, but I'm
Yeah.
okay. You get through it. Persevere, move on. You know,
Yeah. So
I
as
wa
of right now, you are completely retired.
completely retired. Yeah, it's like my wife now. She was like, I think you should retire because you lived this long with all the crap you did flying helicopters. You made it this far. I don't think you better keep doing this. So even my kids, they were all like, you know,
So
they're
Kalani,
like,
when is your birthday?
my birthday is easy for remember, December 7th.
Oh, that was my dad's birthday.
Oh, no kidding.
Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, you from Molokai then, if I
Yeah.
recall. Yeah. You grew up there. Nice.
All the way through sixth grade, and then I passed the test, and the
Awesome.
rest is Kamehameha.
Yeah.
And my
Huh?
mom passed in 20, so I have one first cousin. He and his family still live on Molokai, and that's really my only connection anymore.
Yeah.
Because I have elementary school classmates. They
Yeah.
invite me to reunions, and I talk to a few of them. But sixth grade was a really long time ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, I cannot even remember the people I was in sixth grade with. Well, maybe I
Somebody
can.
was somebody was brought up on Facebook. Uh, who can name all their elementary school teachers? And I think I couldn't come up with second grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. I mean, it was like, holy moly, what happened? Was
Yeah,
I
well,
not there or what?
I can name some of the people I was in elementary school with, but not all of them. So I
Do
think,
you think do you think you could name your first six grades of teachers?
oh, bro, that would be very difficult. Yeah. Yeah. That would be. I can I get a hard time remember stuff now from yesterday.
Yeah, I'm
You
with you
know.
there. I gotta write down everything, man.
Oh, me too. If I don't write them down, forget it. I can forget. If I go store and I know more on list, I can forget it. So that's how part of growing
Yeah.
up. What I
Some
blessed, I get plenty family, lots of children. I get 14 grandchildren. So I
Holy
know.
moly. Richard
I don't
Bartlett
know.
has a large number like that too.
I saw that. I watched him too. And speaking
Like,
of Richard too, I worked a lot in Idaho, you know, but I never ran into him at all. But I flew in Idaho for a number of years up there. So it's a nice place, good place. My father-in-law and my mother-in-law, they had one place on cabin up in the mountains also. I live on 21 acres now that was theirs here in Koloko. And my father-in-law passed away about a little over 2 years ago. And he taught me all kinds of stuff. I mean, I could fly helicopters, but he taught me about life and how to build one house, how to do electrical work, how to do plumbing, all that kind of stuff. So I was
wow.
fortunate. So
Yeah.
when he passed away, I went up there. They were up in Idaho. He passed away up there. I went up there to be with him. He told me, "Who gonna take care of Kaloko?" I'm like, "No worry, Pa. I get him. I take care of him for you." So we
Now
had one
my
closeness.
geography is not real strong. Coloco is where?
Kaloko is. I live up in. It's a forested area. Kaloko Mauka. It's like above the airport. So I live at like about 5,000 foot elevation. Kind of cold up here. Sometimes colder than the mainland. Not as cold as where you stay.
I was ready to challenge you on that one. So,
No, I, no, I know. I've been to Minnesota and it's pretty cold. So yeah.
so our give me geographically your relationship to, like, I know where Mountain View is.
Well, it's on the west side.
Okay.
This is on the west side in Kailua Kona, above Kailua Kona. If you look at a map, the Kona
Okay.
Airport, and then go straight up the mountain. Hualalai is the mountain. Get five mountains and volcanoes on this island. So I live on one of them.
How's the
Hopefully that.
traffic in Kona? Is it bad?
Nah, not too bad. Depends. In the mornings, get school traffic. The kids and stuff going to school, or parents taking them. But yeah, not like I grew up in Honolulu, so um, you know, traffic is in Honolulu is pretty brutal. Yeah, just like LA. My son, I get kids live all over the world, from Japan to West Coast California.
Wow.
One out quite high on this side, Hilo. One son in Kona. So I yeah, I'm pretty blessed for you know. But now now that I'm retired, I guess I can spend more time with them. So
Right on.
that I
You talk
didn't do
about the
when.
traffic on Oahu. I had a friend's son post something the other day, and they live in Waianae, and the son works near Pearl Harbor. And one night he took a shot of the traffic. Took him 3 hours to get home.
Oh, no can that. I know
I
can do
said,
that.
I said, man, that's like almost half your workday.
Yeah. Yeah,
What
that's
kind of
part of your work day is driving home. Yeah.
work for 8 and drive for 3, and maybe I don't know how long coming in. Maybe he beats traffic coming in, but still,
Yeah.
it's about an
And
hour I think to get from
how
Waianae
long
to
have how long have you been in Minnesota up there?
since late 2009.
Wow.
I was
Good for you.
graduated, went to school in Oregon, was up there till about like 78, maybe 79, then moved to Southern California,
Oh,
then got a job and got hired from that job, went to San Antonio, Texas. We did a year in New Orleans, and then I came back in 96
oh, nice.
to Hawaii and stayed there till about late 2009 because we were starting to feel the economy.
Yeah.
Our daughter and grandkids were leaving us to go to the mainland, and just I thought, it'd be
I
nice. And economy wise, it's nice living up here, and I don't enjoy the cold at all. But
No, you get ma to it. You get used to it, no? Yeah, I know. I've been to cold places. One of the coldest. I've been to Korea. That's pretty cold over there. That's brutal.
uh,
So yeah.
I talked to
So
Marilyn Cohe. Her and her husband just did some kind of tour thing to South Korea,
oh
and then Ulu Kealoha. I can't remember her married name now, but last year she and Marilyn and Marilyn's husband went to Thailand.
wow.
So it just looks like it'd be neat to go, but I don't know if I enjoy traveling that far. But
Yeah. One place I never been to that I would like to go maybe Alaska. I never been to Alaska, but just to check it out.
yeah. And
I
if
saw
you
you
enjoy
guys. I saw you guys riding the train that time.
that
You
was good
posted that.
fun.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that was nice because it was such a long trip that depending on who could come in your schedule, you just come in for whatever time you can. Like I flew into Seattle, picked up with them in Seattle, rode them with them to Portland, then came home, and
Oh,
then some guys continued on to Vegas from there
yeah.
and started in some place in California. So,
Yeah.
that was kind of a good idea because, hey, you make what part you can.
Yeah, one train ride, you can see more country. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was pretty fun.
See
I
the
think we were
country.
only on the train 2.5 hours, Seattle to Portland, but it was still pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then more
Yeah.
time for talk story with everybody around you. And
I know. That's awesome. I can see everybody that you guys, I see everything. I'm not very good at communicating. I for a while there, I was on Facebook. I started, and I think some of the people I communicated with was Rhonda, Fauch, um, but not too many. I just wasn't my thing to do. Even I guess you could consider me a recluse. I just kind of hang out in the forest. I watch the birds. I listen to the birds in the morning, and I love it. So
hey,
you know,
nothing wrong with
life,
that at all.
no kidding. Life is simple. My life was so crazy that I need this. It's the good time to settle back in.
Yeah.
So,
So, like,
yeah.
how close is your closest neighbor?
Oh, probably mile away. I mean, yeah, I live. I mean, yeah. Let me see if I can turn this on. This is my. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'll turn them around and face. This is my
Oh,
yard.
there you go. There you go. Wow. Okay.
So, and we get. I think I was telling you my wife's family. Then they bought this place in like the late 70s for 100,000, and then
For 21 acres.
it was 21 acres. It still is 21 acres. So and we take care of the forest. I planted koa trees up here when I was a young man, and now they're all huge. It's like a ohia forest. So my dog over here now. I got
And
three dogs.
I think if you can handle the lifestyle, because I've seen some YouTube videos where people have gone and they just put up a little structure to get by, but they're up in the Big Island
Yeah,
forest where
that's
they
what I
can
get.
afford the land,
Yeah, I
but
mean
no
it's
more
not.
electric.
We get electricity. We get electricity. Get water. Um, but we got a small little cabin. It's just me and my wife now. So the kids all gone, and you know, if I get in trouble, I gotta go sleep outside in the cold. So,
Is your wife retired too?
nah, just kidding. My wife, she grew up here as a teenager, but she originally from California,
Mm.
and she's my second wife. In between my first wife and my second wife, I had one child with another lady who made number seven. So the and interesting story. I only met him when he was. She lived in California in LA, and I only met him when he was like in his 20s. I knew
Wow.
about him. I knew of him, and so we always taught my kids, "Oh, you go another brother someplace in LA," and he knew about me. And so one day, my one of my sons was had contacted him on what did they have, MySpace or something? These kids had before, and he was playing football at Oregon, and my son was playing tennis at Washington,
Oh,
UW.
okay.
And so they saw each other's thing, and then he was like, I, I think you're my brother," and that's how it all started. He said, "Dad, you should meet him." I'm like, "Well," so I wrote him a letter. I said, yeah, and it worked out good. We have a connection now. He has his own children. They call me Grandpa. You know,
Right on.
so it's all
Make
good.
make the best of what the situation is, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's good. And it's good now. It's even better. So I love it. You know, but that's life. Yeah. You know,
Did
we
you
all
have
have our.
brothers and sisters?
I had one sister. She went
Okay.
Kamehameha too. She
Before or
graduated
after us?
71. She graduated.
Oh, okay. So we were eighth grade then, yeah?
Yeah, she lives in Texas. Actually, we were freshmen when they were seniors. I'm sorry, 72 she graduated.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So you know, she lives in Texas. Her husband was a pilot too for years, but he was a few years older than her and he passed away. Oh, it's been a while now. So she treats me like her own. They never had children. So she always doing stuff for me and sending me stuff. I'm like, my wife is like, boy, you spoiled, are you? I'm like, I go, yeah. I go, I don't need nothing. My sister take care of me. So, but I love my sister. She's the best.
Right
So
on.
I know.
Where in Texas does she live?
She lives in Irving, Texas.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. And she's very successful in her what she did or does. She retired recently, but then the company she was working for, they told her, said, you know, can you come back and work as a contract employee instead of, they're like, and she's like, oh. And she became 70 collecting Social Security. She's like, I go, oh, you can go work now, no need to pay taxes, right? So I think that she gonna do that.
It's nice to have something to do at least, a reason to get out of
Oh
bed in the
yeah,
morning.
yeah. What are you working still? What are you
I
doing
I
now?
drive a school bus
Oh,
and
right on.
then
Awesome.
I fill in with our town is only 10,000 people, so we don't have city buses. We have like the little airport shuttle buses,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
but same thing, take people stop to stop. And
Yeah.
so,
You
yeah,
put
so I
it.
mean, it's not 40 hours a week, but I don't want 40 hours a week anymore. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think I remember watching the video with Richard. He mentioned that. Yeah. He's like, I don't want to drive kids or something. He said that. I saw Tanya's video and I was cracking up because her daughter-in-law and my oldest daughter, they're like best friends. They grew up in Kwana here. Yeah.
oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. I saw a picture and I told her that they call me uncle too, yeah. So these kids. So I was like, oh, I think I went to school with your mother-in-law. So yeah, there's
It's,
always a connection. When you're from Hawaii, the connection is real, yeah. So
yeah. In fact, living up here, I discovered on Facebook there was a Midwest group of Hawaii people.
oh,
And the guy that kind of started it or whatever was in Minneapolis, which is about 2.5 hours drive for me. So one day, I went up to go visit, say hello, and what's your group all about? We're talking, and I mentioned Kamehameha, and he goes, "Oh, my mom graduated Kamehameha." I'm going, "Oh."
oh,
He goes, "Yeah, she graduated in '75." I went,
whoa.
"I graduated in '75." Martha Ferraro was his mom.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah, so
remember
yeah,
her.
so she lives
Yeah.
up there, and
Oh,
um, I remember her only as always being Siamese twins with Patty Forsyth.
Patty. That's my cousin, Patty. We
Oh, okay.
related. Yeah, yeah.
But Martha and Patty through high school were I never saw one by themselves.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
were always that pair, and they still in touch today. I think
Yeah.
she told me Patty lives in Vegas or someplace. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Vegas, yeah. With Tanya, Jeff Noah, Dave Big Vegas, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think who else did. So yeah, I watch and see what people write and post and stuff. So but everybody, when I was a young guy, my mom was like, son, the alumni people said you died. I'm like, what? And I was like, well, she goes, you better contact them and set the record straight. Well, what happened was Kalani Brown died, you
Hmm.
know. So I guess they thought it was me. So, and I was in the service there, so I never had that connection. So, yeah, yeah, I know, crazy, yeah. Even Mike Crab, I seen him in Kona a few times. He came over here when years ago. His dad lived here in Kona after he retired fire department. So I got to see them, and his dad I think passed away already.
Yeah.
And I went to his mother's funeral in Kona, and that's where I hooked up with Mike and Corey Chalk. She was working for Aloha Airlines, I think, yeah, or Corey Nojima, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, all kind of crazy directions we've all taken, man.
yeah. Everybody tell me. I was sad to hear about the kind Peely passing away. I see her sisters live here also, so I
Oh,
always
okay.
yeah, they were always yeah. They're like our sister always says. I go, yeah, yeah. She don't believe everything she says now. Just 90% of it. But nah, she was one sweet lady. And Donna Assam, you remember her?
Yeah.
Donna Assam. She lived here in Kona. She passed away not that
Oh
long
boy.
ago. I don't know how long ago. Another nice lady. I just ran into Ellen Yano the other day at the store. Yeah. So
Wow.
I see Tommy Cam and them pretty regularly. Kevin Tevis, I run into him once in a while. Um, Tommy and Valencia, and so I see people. They always ask me, "What? Oh, you back?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm back." We don't like ask you where you went. We just know that you're back now. Yeah, I'm back now. So
Wow.
that's how. So. But Kona always was my base. So I love it here. I get family and it was always on good base for me. But I had the itchy pants. I always was traveling to work and stuff. So yeah, that's how it goes.
Well, yeah, but at the same time too, when the job gives you that opportunity,
Yeah,
because Tanya got to travel quite a bit when she started dancing,
yeah,
Kathy Thurston, same thing. And so I mean, and who was it Camuela was talking about being in band or glee club or something, and they took like a 1 month trip, South
yeah,
America and West Coast, and I'm going, hey, for an island kid, man, that's something special, man.
yeah. I mean, that's pretty interesting. To be able to see the world was real eye opening for me, and even the mainland. You know, um, I learned a lot, experienced a lot, good and bad. But uh, that's life, and so now that I'm 68, gonna be, I can look back and I could forget all the bad stuff and think of all the good stuff. And
Hey, and that's exactly how we should be doing it. So,
I know.
and
Yeah.
be grateful for your situation. I mean, there's probably people that would die to have your setup, quiet place in the mountains and peacefulness and
Yeah. I'm real lucky because it was an opportunity. Well, if I never was married to my wife now, my wife, she pretty much saved my life. I gotta put it that way. She saved my life, because I was doing stuff that I probably wouldn't have. I surprised I lived to be 40. When 40 came, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna make it to 50. When 50 came, my dad got me on subscription to AARP, and I was like, oh. I go, is that a hint, Dad? You know, and so she kept me grounded, kept me knowing what I needed to do, and she knew I when the work I did that it involved being gone. So I appreciate her. She raised my two children. In fact, the mothers of all my children, they did such an excellent job raising my kids that, you know, I got the best seven kids in the world. I go, I lucky seven. I get seven wonderful children that, I don't worry about them. They all just fine. I was like, wow. my one son, he goes, "Oh, Dad, don't worry." I go, "Your grandfather was a good man, and you're a good man too." He goes, "It must skip a generation." I like,
Where did you meet your current wife?
I met her here in Kona. Yeah, and I met her a long time ago. I mean, we've been together for a long time, but she's endured all this stuff, and it's just kind of unbelievable. In fact, I remember I saw Terry Malter one time in Kona. She had her kids playing basketball, and I was telling her what I did. She's like, "Oh my God, how do you even be married if you're always gone like that?" I'm like, "Well, it pays the bills. I get plenty kids, so you know." So she decides to crack up when I heard that. I was like, "Well, yeah, some people can handle." So my wife is she's an athlete, so she like Terry and Rhonda. They're like real athletic, so she's focused person. She's a realtor here, so
Wow,
you know,
okay.
she good. Yeah, I lucky. I blessed, lucky, whatever you want to call it. You know, so that's my life, man.
Amazing.
I
Amazing.
know. I know. Yeah. Some people gonna look at me and they go, "Oh, yeah, I get it," but you know, yeah. Well, always, like I said, it wasn't always good. I mean, there's some negative times and some bad places I've been to. And I experienced stuff that I wouldn't wish on my own enemy. So lots of trauma, and you know, so in fact, you know, yeah, I spent some time trying to get get back down to earth. I had issues. I had some issues. Um, and so I ended up putting myself. I grounded myself from flying. I put myself into a program that I could solve. And I discovered things that they were like, you get PTSD. You're a candidate for PTSD. I go, oh, I go. Do you ever hit your head real hard? I go, oh yeah, multiple times. So you probably get TBI too, traumatic brain injury. I'm like, oh, thanks you. I'm not gonna make it then. Does that mean I'm gonna have dementia pretty soon? Well, it's possible. So, but
Yeah, unfortunately too, I guess from third hand news I've heard that what was his name? Taylor Kaina. Taylor
oh
Kaina.
yeah, yeah.
He's got early onset. So
Oh, shoots.
yeah.
I know.
So
Yeah.
gotta
Well,
enjoy what we have when we have because
yeah, yeah. Because when God call you home or whatever, whatever God you pray to, uh, it's time to go home. Yeah. So no more choice.
exactly.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I'm not overly religious. I listen to some people. I was born into the Mormon church as one youth, but I basically am what you call a Jack Mormon. So my friends like Fred Watson and Jeff Noah, them they all LDS people. Yeah, Tanya, they're gonna say, "Oh, you know." But I would run away from church when I was 10 years old. I was like, uh, and that missionaries they still come look for me and they come my house. They're like, "Oh, can we talk sorry?" I go, "No, I don't really want to talk sorry and stuff, but we can pray together." So I remember stuff. I was born into the church. My grandma was real strong, but you know, I tell my kids that I go, "Oh, I got to do a lot of repenting, you know, beg for forgiveness to make it into the pearly gates." I think my daughter, she all mad at me, like, "Dad, stop talking like that." I go, "Well, we all get our, got to ask for forgiveness, but that's what Christianity is based on, right? Forgiveness." So, you know,
Yeah.
so
Did you have a good
I,
Easter last weekend?
oh yeah, wonderful. I made, I cook in my family, so I made for me and my wife and my mother-in-law.
Right
So
on.
she alone up here. She lives in one of the cabins. We get four cabins on our property. So she lives by herself, and she had a rough time when my father-in-law passed away. So we'll take care of her,
Oh
keep
yeah,
an eye
they
on
were
her.
probably together a long time, yeah.
Oh yeah, uh, never apart, never apart. She's 82 now, so
Wow.
I'm like, oh, mom, I hope I make it to be 82. I don't know, but
Yeah, I'm sure you probably thought like has crossed my mind every now and then is I never thought I'd see 68.
no, not at all. Be honest with you, you know, there, I never thought I would make it to 40. I'll be quite honest with you, but I did, and there were just different hurdles along the way that I just had to endure and put up with. How the world became a really, I like to say, unsafe place. You know, and you know, I guess I was part of that unsafeness activity. So, and I'm fortunate. You know, almost lost my son-in-law. He retired Marine Corps. They live in Okinawa. I love Japan. Great place. So he told me, Dad, I was like, bro, it's time for you to stop. you know, Time for you to come home. You've been to Afghanistan twice, Iraq once. Stay home now. Take care of your family. So he finally retired. So, but that's life. So, well, it's good to talk to you. Now you get all
Yeah.
my information.
Well, I would love to come visit you next time I'm on the Big Island.
Oh, oh, bro.
I would love to sit right next to you on that porch and just chill.
Yeah, bro. Come whenever you come. You get my number, you get my email, you get everything. When you come in, you just let me know. No problem.
Sounds good.
I got an empty cabin over here too, so
Right on.
you can
I'm
hang out over
glad
there.
you got in touch with me, Kalani.
Yeah. No, I was thinking. It's been years, and I talked to plenty of people. Haunani, Valente, or Daniels was when we was growing up. I remember the last time I called her because our families were close, and she told me, "Oh, what? Are you coming or what?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come." She goes, "Right." She's like, "We'll see when it happens." Sure enough, I never come. So yeah. Even Arlene, I haven't talked to Arlene, but it was Facebook. She contacted, especially when her and Donna Sam were close friends. Yeah, so yeah, but yeah, come over anytime. You're more than
Sounds
welcome.
good.
Any of
Now,
any people.
you got stuff going on early June then? Is that what you were telling me?
Yeah, I'm not gonna make it. This couple. My daughter guys coming in August, and to be quite honest with you, it's really hard for me. I not one real, you know, talking to people. This is the first time I call it share my monologue with anybody. Was right now. I usually pretty to myself. I don't really tell people about my life or anything like that because there's not very many good things to say. So, um, but this is the first time, and I was thinking. My daughter was like, Dad, you gotta go. I was like, she goes, we'll take you. That's how my daughters are. I'm like, I go, no, I can go. I think I know how to ride a plane and stuff. But I just meeting somebody face to face is about as close as I have gotten with that. So I lost plenty of friends over the years. So it's really sometimes I have a difficult time, with stuff. So but I'm here. I,
Yeah.
I
And
get the force.
and when people get to watch this session, they'll know a little bit more than they did before.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
appreciate you. Yeah,
right on. Well, you take
because
care, and I will definitely take you up on your offer next time I
yeah, you come, man.
somehow make it to the Big Island.
Yeah, come over anytime.
Right on. Aloha, my friend.
Yeah, big mahalo, brother. Aloha.